216-578-1007 if you want to join us live. 800-348-1007. 35192. Send me a text. We'll get to the Poundcake sports break later on. He's also got a brand new, I assume you dropped a new Poundcake podcast.
Yep, Da Brat's Lil Brat.
The what? Say again?
Da Brat's Lil Brat.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Da Brat is pregnant at 48 years old.
Yeah.
Whoa.
The pride of Chicago, Illinois. Love Da Brat. Okay, well, pregnant by, because she's gay, so is she carrying or no?
She's carrying.
Oh,
her
beautiful.
wife.
Because you know how couples will say they're pregnant, so I wasn't sure which one of them was going to be carrying them.
Well, her wife already has 2 children from a previous marriage or a previous relationship or whatever. So
her wife kind of looks like Raven Simone.
Kind of. Who's also gay. But they broke the news on the Sherry Shepherd show. Which I'm like dying inside because I'm like, ugh.
Okay. Gesundheit.
But yeah. I just thought I was talking about that. And I talked about Shawn Mendes dating a 51-year-old woman who's turning him out, I believe. Like she...
Are you for that or against it?
I'm for it because I said there's a difference between dating a young lady like Camila Cabello and dating a woman like who's...
Well, he's dating his chiropractor.
Which best job in the world. And
why is that? You mean to be his chiropractor?
Exactly.
Oh, not just a chiropractor.
Best job in the world.
Right.
Chiropractor to the celebrities.
Well, you figure she's had her hands all over his body, right? She's adjusted his lumbar region on numerous occasions, you know. She's aligned his spine, and that probably does something to a young boy. How old is he?
And then he's to
24.
unalign hers.
What's that?
He gets to unalign her spine.
It's a circle of influence. He blows her back out, and then she has a colleague reset it, and then
I think
so she's twice his age, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think she's teaching him everything. That's what I'm saying. That's the difference between him dating Camilla, where I think he was the lead in that relationship, like he was supposed to be like the alpha. But this one, she's like a woman, and she's like, "Let me teach you a few things, boy."
And what do you think she'll teach him? I mean, he's a 24-year-old global superstar. Yeah, he's a superstar. I imagine he's gotten it in on a few occasions. I mean, you know, what will she teach him?
She's giving him cred and she's giving him edge because before he didn't have edge. No one looked at Shawn Mendes and said...
A 51-year-old woman is giving him cred.
Yes, because she's a hot 51-year-old woman. Have you seen her?
Yeah, of course. But I mean, she's still twice his age.
Yes, but there's...
Camila Cabello is no slouch.
It's not that she wasn't pretty, but she was a young lady. She doesn't have the same life experience. This woman is taking him. Just look at the paparazzi pictures of him. Like, I can't help but laugh when I see him because all I think about is she is slaying this young man.
Now, for those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, Shawn Mendes is a young singer who's very popular. He's from Canada, and according to Poundcake, and going into further detail in the Poundcake podcast, he's dating his 51-year-old
I mean,
chiropractor.
She already made him cut his hair.
This is a guy who canceled his tour because he's like, I got to get my head right. And he'd been going to this chiropractor for a while. She probably said, you know, I'm feeling a lot of stress and a lot of tension in your muscles. You know, when she was rubbing him down. Who knows if she toured with him? And so they have history, and that goes a long way. And clearly, he needs a mother figure. That's what it is.
He has a mother figure. His mom's not dead.
I didn't say she was dead.
But does he need a mother figure
because a lot of guys got a mommy complex. And you don't date a woman twice your age if you don't have a mommy complex. And so he's working that out. And there's nothing wrong with that. He lives in Toronto, so she's probably Canadian. So she probably I think he does. So she probably knows a couple of things, you know. They teach chiropractors in Canada things they don't teach them down here, you know.
What I think it is he is now at the point of in his career where he's gone as high as he can go, being the same old Shawn Mendes that we know. We know, like, his last album didn't sell as well as they thought it would. His tour, he said he canceled it due to mental health reasons, but the tickets weren't really selling like that.
I think you're overcomplicating it.
I don't know.
I think this guy, he's got a mommy complex. There were gay rumors for a while, so he goes, I'll show you how not gay I am. I'm dating somebody because oh, wait. And then he goes into it. I'm dating somebody who looks like my mom. That's how straight my head is on.
I think because people compare him and Justin Bieber together a lot, and
Because they're both Canadian.
they're both Canadian. They both are like teen heartthrobs. They have kind of the same fan base, but Justin
Well,
Bieber.
neither of them are teens.
They were, though.
They were.
They
teen
were?
heartthrobs.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
They
You
bo-
mean at one point they were?
I'm just saying,
Oh.
Justin Bieber made it on YouTube, and Shawn Mendes was Vine when Vine was a thing. So he needs to attract older women, a fan base. And I think this is the way.
Oh,
to
you
do it.
think that this is
This
all
is all very
strategic?
calculated.
Yes.
This is entirely strategic.
Yes.
Because there are a lot of different ways you could go about it that stop short of dating your 51-year-old chiropractor.
Yeah, there are. Justin Bieber did it. He was drag racing. He got arrested. He got a bunch of tattoos. I mean, he was naked.
But
all
that didn't
over the
add
internet.
any fans for him.
Yes, it did. It got
Who?
him. It was smeared all over the internet. What do you
The
mean?
older tattoo moms,
Duh.
Bill.
But
That's who got
he's
into
more-
him.
he's
The
edgy.
drag racing, edgy tattoo moms.
No, that just kept his fans around. That didn't, like, nobody's like, I'm finally into Justin Bieber.
No, it made him more edgy. He got rid of the whole, Justin Bieber hair thing. the
Right,
baby,
but
baby,
that's what
baby.
you do to show that you're not a kid anymore.
So what does Shawn Mendes do to show he's not a kid anymore?
He's just doing, he's living his life. What happens is
He's slaying
people
a
stop.
housewife.
Well, what happens is people stop doing things that kids do, and they act like adults, and then people go, "Oh, I guess they're not going to act like a child forever."
Well, that's
but it's
regular
like,
people.
but I don't think it's this as strategic as you think.
That's what you're saying makes sense for a regular person. Yes, regular people who have day-to-day jobs stop acting like kids because they don't have any choice. But isn't it what Alan always says?
I was playing a kid's game today.
When you're a celebrity,
For adults too.
the age you become famous is the age you stop growing. And if that's the case, Shawn Mendes is still a 14-year-old, in a 24-year-old's body. He's been in the game now for a minute. He's been in the game for like 10 years now. So I think this is upping his cred a little bit. I think.
But with what cred?
You have
It's
to
making him
listen
look
to the
edgy.
Poundcake podcast
do.
to find out,
I'm
Bill.
not going to.
On,
Well, you should.
but you would have to, for Poundcake's manic energy to get funneled into this podcast, you'd have to listen
I hate myself.
on the iHeartRadio app. What's that?
And his fans grow up with him, so they're gonna be like, "Yeah, he's doing things now." But I don't think.
Yeah, there aren't a lot of young
don't think
girls
there's a
on
lot
the
of people-
current New Kids on the Block tour. Their moms are taking them because
Right.
their moms love them.
And the people that like Shawn Mendes are probably like weirded out more than anything by him dating a 50. There's not a 50-year-old mom that's like, well, now I like Shawn Mendes because he likes older women. They hear his music and they like it.
And just to clarify, it's a big deal because he's 24. 51 is not old.
So young. The youngest there could be.
People asking me if that means my wife has a daddy complex. Hell yeah, she got a daddy complex. She got a zaddy complex. You got that right. Who's complaining? Not a one. Anyway, in its entirety, the Poundcake podcast is available for you on the iHeartRadio app. Speaking of children, a city councilman out in Eastlake busted for hookers. Well, I assume hookers. Back in the day, if you got busted trying to pick somebody up, prostitution busts became human trafficking stings, which sounds awful. It sounds terrible. John Myers was one of 6 people scooped up out in Lake County. He's the Eastlake City Council president. A 3rd-degree misdemeanor charge of soliciting. So I take that to mean hookers, right? These guys got scooped up, but when they charge them now with human trafficking, which makes it sound like these dudes
Oh God, that's
had a
awful.
dry van trailer full of Honduran teenagers or something, But that's what they call it now. That they got he and 5 other dudes. I don't know if they were all at the same spot, but he was one of the guys who got scooped up in, I don't know what this was called. I always love the names of the operations. What was this called? Operation, I don't know. One of the guys had coke on him or something. But the guy who's getting all the attention is John Myers because he's the city council president out there in Eastlake. What was it called? The Northeast Ohio Human Trafficking Task Force.
Yeah, I don't see like a
Or not.
specific plan
anyway.
for this one.
Ohio AG says, Dave Yost is the guy. He said that we're going to bust you and make sure everybody knows what you did. Don't buy sex in Ohio. Take that. People who want to buy sex in Ohio. Of course, Dave Yost is also the guy who said that story about that 10-year-old Ohio rape victim who had to go to Indiana for an abortion. He said that was all made up. Yeah, somebody's got an axe to grind. And then they arrested the guy, and he was really, really quiet. So you'd be forgiven for being skeptical of Dave Yost's commitment to human trafficking victims. But nevertheless, don't buy sex in Ohio, or you'll meet the same fate that the city council president of Eastlake will meet, which is a fine. I love fines.
Get
third-degree misdemeanor. Huh?
It says he could face up to 60 days in jail.
Up to 60 days, right. Well, there you go. He'll get 60 days, and he'll pay a small fine for what amounts to getting scooped up. Doesn't say where. Listen, this is Lake County. You know, there's a lot of old guys. Well, I shouldn't say old, but a lot of dudes that look the way you think they'd look. A couple of young dudes in there.
One dude's like 20.
Yeah, young dude.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because...
But you know what, though? Here's my theory.
Sex defender theory?
Well, that 20-year-old was paying for sex, and that may have saved a lot of lives.
Yes, because if he was pent up,
yeah,
and he went back to the people who done him wrong out there in Lake County, God knows what could have happened. So I hope we're able to take a full spectrum look at the situation. Of course, human trafficking is something that should be litigated and stamped out. But you can also make room for the thought of what Bill said. There might be people walking around alive today because this young man dipped his wick.
I'm a huge proponent of legalizing prostitution. I think it should be legal in every state, nationwide. Make it legal.
Just me?
Do you want that on the bumper sticker?
Well, no, he's not alone in that. You can make a very good case for legalizing prostitution.
Just because it would be regulated.
You can make a really good case for legalizing a lot of things. You know, you look at the Netherlands, you know, sex work has been legal there for decades because it's, it can be regulated and because it could, the thought being it would reduce crime, it would improve public health, it would protect the sex workers, which a lot of people, let's be honest, don't have any interest in protecting. People talk a good game, but they think of those people who do sex work as second-class citizens. Just because you're on OnlyFans doesn't mean you're not doing sex work. It's just taken on a whole new sheen now. But people who are out in them streets, like the girls, again, this is a lot of speculation just based on this story where they said they scooped these guys up. Usually they give you a lot of information on these stories. That's why they're so fun. You get a lot of information. Oh, they were in the back of the XL Inn, and one of them tried to jump out a window, and the other one hid under a bed, but we found him because there were only two twins in there. One of the males faced an additional charge of possessing a controlled substance. They found a bit of coke on him.
Yeah.
So well, listen, if you're going to party.
Mm-hmm. Go all the way.
All the way.
I have a question.
I hope that I have an answer.
This is mainly in regards to like OnlyFans and how it's become so mainstream. It's not very stigmatized anymore. Why do you think that is?
What's that?
OnlyFans.
What do you mean it's not stigmatized anymore?
It's not as stigmatized as it would be.
Was it stigmatized?
Well, it's considered, that would be considered pornography. Like,
well, the more normalized anything becomes. I mean,
because people have been camming for years, and it was like always like a dark secret. But people can be out, out and proudly. I have an OnlyFans.
But people are still getting fired if the school finds out and things like that. I mean, it's not without stigma. I mean,
your dad must be so proud.
But I think it's like the same thing. Right. Like when I was a kid, my mom always told me about like tattoos. Like you don't want to get too many tattoos because you're not gonna be able to get a job one day. And now I'm looking at my boss who's like tatted up, got sleeves. So
it depends on what kind of job you want to get.
Poundcake's got a corporate job.
No, I understand, but I mean, it's a job that he does at home, right?
I mean,
only
just now.
recently.
Yeah, only recently.
Right, but I'm just saying. I mean, you walk into put a suit on and then walk into
But I think that's
an investment firm with a neck tattoo and see how they treat you.
I think if you're, I think
The
that
neck
is
tattoo
way
would
less
be
of a
different.
big deal, and I think Poundcake's
agree.
kind of right about that. Where there's
He might
plenty
be.
of places like if you're doing your job well, you have a
don't
neck
care.
tattoo. They're like, whatever, you're getting the job done.
I was gonna say, I think it really is. The saying has been around forever, but it's so hard to find good help these days. Like if you have a resume and you have been working and you show up to work on time and you have good longevity, I think people are just like, screw it. I don't care what you look like. Just
Right, but that's more a function of
job.
the market rather than the person or the destigmatization. If they can be picky about employees, you bet your ass those people get a second look.
I don't know about that, though,
I don't think so.
because I also
Talk
think
to people who hire. That's all I'm telling you.
But
You talk
I-
to people who hire.
Sure.
Not to a person. I'm just saying that it's not so completely mainstream now that it's not a consideration at all.
I think it is only going to become less and less as the baby boomer generation dies
I
off.
agree. There's grandmas
Because-
walking around with sleeve tattoos.
Right.
now.
I was
Yeah.
going to say Gen
By
X.
the way, at 85, they look great.
You're Gen X, right, Alan?
Yeah, I am.
So Gen X are in
Yeah,
their
50-year-olds.
50s, and they're plenty with tattoos becoming more normalized. And then millennials for sure, where now, not necessarily maybe CEOs, but people running their own companies, people who are regional managers, things like that are covered in tattoos.
Nobody's doubting that.
So I don't think it's if they could be pickier, they would pick someone without tattoos.
Well, but you're
I think
also-
the 75-year-olds would do that, but those people are going to retire or die soon anyway.
But you're also talking, if you're talking about people from my generation, those are people who have been working in those respective jobs for 30 years.
Sure.
If you're 19 years old and you got a teardrop under your eye and you go in, you could be right.
But
You
chances
could
are
run
those
into
people-
somebody and they go, yeah, I don't care about that. Again, it depends on the job. It depends on the situation. But to say that it's not a consideration for a lot of people who look to hire people, that's not the case.
But I think they're kidding themselves if they look at someone who's like not qualified or, not qualified but doesn't have tattoos. So I'm going to hire them versus someone who's qualified and might
Well,
have.
nobody would hire someone who wasn't qualified.
Yeah.
It doesn't
That's
matter
not
what's
true,
on them.
'cause-
I mean, I hired you, but I mean, that aside, this is showbiz. It doesn't matter. Iggy Azalea's on OnlyFans. I paid for hers this morning and then quickly canceled my subscription. But no vag, Bill.
No,
I shouldn't do that.
Well, you're stuck there for a month.
Nipples?
Kind of, yeah.
Sat on OnlyFans. I thought about that for about like 4 or 5 months actually, and I will show my breasts or show nudity, or I don't really have a problem with being like overtly sexual when I'm in control of it or I feel that it has artistic merit.
Wait, so are you posting nudes?
Yes, there's boobs and I am naked. Yeah, I'm naked. I'm making so much money that I won't even say how much it is.
That's so sick.
That's so sick.
That's the
They're
one thing
making so much money. Yeah, I looked at it and I was like, oh, let's see what's doing here. It's a lot of her like tongue in a cherry or putting her finger in her mouth or, boobs in the tub. But not even that. Like she's got just a thin bra and I'm like, eh.
That's the one thing I hate about OnlyFans is like I subscribe because I'm really excited about the content, and then when I see the content, I'm like, ugh, I want you to be gone right. Like
Well, you can,
unsubscribe, but
unsubscribe right away. Like,
But I want you to be gone right now, and it's like you paid for it, so you got it for 28 days or 30 days or whatever. And I'm like, I don't want to see you no more. You disappointed me.
But you don't have to see them anymore. You unsubscribe and you don't see that anymore.
That's not true.
No.
If you pay for the month.
Don't go. No, you could see it, but you don't have to go see it.
I know, but I want to see it because I thought
You
it was.
just said you wanted it to be gone right away.
No, I'm saying once I subscribe and it's not what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I'm angry, and then I just want to unsubscribe. So
Right.
I unsubscribe, and then they're still on my feed for that 20.
Oh, you're on
days.
OnlyFans all the time, is what you're saying, and it comes up in your feed.
Well, yeah.
Like I subscribed to Iggy Azalea this morning, checked it out, didn't like it, unsubscribed. I'm not going to go back.
Okay.
I have it for another 28 days, but I already realized I don't like what she's putting out, so I'm not going to go back. But you have like a whole feed where they're in your face all the time. Is that what you're saying?
When I open it up, it may not be often or every day, but like when I do open it up, it's there. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember. I unsubscribed to this page, but I already paid for it, so I might as well just give it a looky-loo. I want to get my money's worth, so I'm like, can I get something from
I want to
this?
get my money's worth of something I don't like.
Well, I already paid for it, so I'm like, some side cap or something. I can do something with that, but it's just not what I thought. Because a lot of they get you. Like I'm like, okay, $9.99 is reasonable. I've spent way more and gotten way less for $9.99. But then,
Well, some girls are pretty smart. They put it right in the bio.
but then they do
No,
PPV.
no. Well, but they say no this, no that.
Mhm.
If you want to see whole, you ain't gonna see it.
No.
You go, all right. Well, you told me going in.
these gays are smart because they'll have you subscribe to the $9.99 and then they'll give you like a little glimpse of what they're paying behind a paywall. I'm like, no, you can't do that. They'd be like $39.99. I'm like,
Oh, Poundcake's out there getting outsmarted by OnlyFans gays. Listen to that.
makes me mad.
What a time.
I support.
What a time to be alive. Who says this is a terrible time to be alive? This is an amazing time to be alive. Are you kidding me? Really? How frequently are you on OnlyFans?
It's not every day. I didn't even.
How frequently?
I would say maybe like once a week. I check
Oh.
it.
All right.
And that's when I know I'm subscribed to someone. I'm not subscribed to anybody right now. I'm keeping it open. I put myself on a diet of one.
They have to work
person.
for you.
Well, yeah.
You're not just going to willy-nilly give them your money.
I put my diet of one OnlyFans influencer per month. I'm not going to have a bill of like $30, $40.
He's
you
keeping
have all
himself
these
on a
different-
low-protein diet.
Because there's so much free porn out there. Why would I do that? But
Yeah, that's always been the case. Why would anybody? That's why I can't believe anybody makes money on OnlyFans.
because it's not. These people aren't found on porn sites. These
No,
are
I
just like regular
understand.
people.
Yeah, I understand.
And it's hot.
But plenty of naked people are found on free porn sites.
But I
Yeah,
don't
but if
know
you want to
that.
see Mary's sister, you got to
Yeah!
It's the only way.
Right? You got to take butthole pictures in Hawaii.
God, that made me laugh so hard.
This is the sun. This is the moon. Oh, it's going to be great. I got a break here. If you want to send a text, 35192. If you want to watch live, you can do that at alancoxshow.com. And anywhere you can listen on the iHeartRadio app.
Buzzard Radio.